Hello everyone, and this is a video on the Christmas light project for Christmas 2018. So last year I did some web controlled Christmas lights where the audience could control what was displayed on the Christmas lights and do all sorts of fun stuff, and I've been improving it lots. Never mind that admin password, I'll be changing that. So this is what the admin sees. And here's a preview of the fence, and the fence this year is 270 pixels wide by 16 high, so we've got lots of cool options for games that weren't possible, games and patterns and stuff that weren't possible with only 8 pixels. So this is running, talking to the hardware now. So if I do that, you should be able to see some cool stuff happening. So I'll pop it on rainbow. And so this is outputting the top left string of about 100 pixels I've just got on my desk for testing. Lots of other cool ones. There's not many that look cool on just a strip of lights on a desk, but the rainbow looks pretty good. I've been working on lots of new patterns, so I've got audience favorites like rainbow and sleigh and circles. Everyone likes circles. Look at that. Whoa. So I built this little preview window here to avoid having to run out to the fence to test new patterns and such. And so this is streaming via WebSockets now, and it's the same stream gets fed down to the controllers on the fence that do the that control the LEDs, which is handy. And everything's a lot neater and faster and cooler. So there's games, there's Snake. So one of the reasons I switched over to WebSockets and JSON rather than REST calls was that playing games really sucked because there was so much latency. But now there's like 50 milliseconds of latency, so like very, very small amount, like a 20th of a second delay between when you click something on your mobile phone and when the thing moves. So I'm actually going to improve Snake so it moves smoothly as opposed to moving in steps now. It was moved in steps before because I had much less resolution, but now I can do a lot more. There's a few patterns on here that I'm not ready to go with. Brisbane, and stars, rainbow text. I don't know that if I click that it'll probably crash. So what else do I want to show? Tron. Okay, so this is the first multiplayer game I've made. So I'm the red player, but if somebody else were connected, they would show up as the green player. It would say you are the green player in green text on their screen. And each person controls a snake or a Tron light cycle that zooms around the screen, and you go up, down, left, right, and your objective is to block off your opponent. And when you get blocked off, your snake turns grey and you lose. At the moment, there's no lose condition. You just have to wait until the next pattern comes along, which is a bit boring. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I've added Blink, which is a general purpose testing pattern for me, so I can red or green or blue. Wowee, look at that. Just for testing that I've got the colors lined up properly. I might even, if I can be like a Twitch streamer, look at that, you can see them change. Wowee. And so I'll click it like now. It's very, very quick. It's amazing. How do I not be a Twitch streamer anymore? There we go. Okay. Now Tetris is the most awesome thing I've ever built in my entire life. So it's multiplayer competitive Tetris. So let me quickly see. Every time I start testing this, I end up playing it, which is not great for productivity. But I had to add the shadows that you see going down because it's quite hard to see where stuff's going to land when you do a quick zoom. But when you finish a row, your opponent gets a row on their side, which is kind of cool. The only downside is that it does take quite a long time to play, and it is pretty visually interesting. So I don't mind maybe extending the timer if people are playing Tetris together, because it is still kind of interesting for everyone else to watch, which It's not necessarily the case for the other games. Like, it's not a huge amount of fun to watch someone else play Snake, but watching two people play Tetris is pretty interesting. It takes quite a while to lose, but that's how it should be. I think you shouldn't immediately die if you make a mistake. Very good, and that's about it in terms of new patterns. So I'm working on some ideas that I have. I've got a Trello board with like 200 different items on it, but I'm keen to hear if anyone has any cool ideas for visually interesting two-player games. I can go more players, but I think two is probably the sweet spot. We were seeing an average of like 3 people at a time looking at the lights between the hours of like 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., sort of the peak time. So that seemed to be the sweet spot for multiplayer games, but I don't really want to put a lot of effort in designing a 3-player game that nobody will ever play 3 players. I can make Tron any number of players, but it gets a little bit chaotic with more. Yes, red wins again. Okay, well that's where I'm up to. I'm working on improving the behind-the-scenes stuff. I've received the new batch of LEDs. I've just got to cut them to length and solder and silicon and join and weave and so on and so forth. Lots of work there. Okay, bye-bye.